Dr. Britt Baker is trending. And trending in sports, number one trend in sports. By the way, we have the number one podcast once again today. So thank you to the Busted Open Nation for listening every day. And I look, and Dr. Britt Baker sent out a tweet. Now, Tommy, she sent out this tweet at 9:49. So during Dynamite, or right at the tail end of Dynamite during the last segment, she sent out this tweet. And this was the tweet that has the sports world abuzz this morning. Okay. And it's our job, Tommy, to kind of give a take on this tweet. So I'm going to first read it, then we're going to give our takes. Are you ready?
Go.
Tonight's AEW Dynamite, MJF live promo time, 7 minutes. Christian Cage live promo time, 10 minutes. All of 2023 on Dynamite, Britt Baker live promo time, 0 minutes. And this blew up like you wouldn't believe. At this point, it almost has a million likes to it. So, Tommy, what do you think, and what's your take on this tweet from Britt Baker that she sent out right before the end of Dynamite last night?
I'm actually surprised that she has not had a microphone in 2023.
First of all, that's shocking. Like, when I first heard that, I was like, that cannot be true. So I'm going to take her for her word, but it sounds almost unbelievable that Dr. Britt Baker did not have a live microphone in her hand in all of 2023.
Because she's an excellent talker, and she's got the peeps behind her when she does her DMD. Backstage interviews, I know she's had those. So that does count. Maybe they were on other shows. Anyway, if I guess to address her tweet. In the era of social media, it is a thing. You can air your gripes publicly, and then you have to deal with it internally as a company, or like if this is a talent relations issue. We've seen it with certain talents in both companies. If I could relate to something that happened that I was a part of that involved Tony Khan, when he had a player from the Jaguars that was unhappy and tweeted it, and 2 or 3 days later he was traded. That's kind of how you deal with stuff. You look at, social media. James Harden, not happy in Philly, started bitching about ownership, finally shipped out to the Clippers. Wrestling is twofold. If that is, then there has to be some ramifications towards her, with it's either, okay, you did this during the show, it actually started trending. How does this make the show look good? How does this make the company that you're a flag bearer for look good? Or let's take it this way. I understand, you're not on television, but you were in a group. A lot of your group members got hurt. We had a reposition, blah, blah, blah. There's different ways to go about it. If you were just talking about this particular show, I would say, well, where were Kenny Omega, Don Callis, the Young Bucks, all these? They weren't on my show and had no mic time either. Jericho, another great example. But when I go 2023, I say, or the other part of our industry, she could be the devil. And giving reasons why she's going to burn the whole place down. So that's how you got to kind of look at it. I don't personally like when people come after a company like the NWO. If it's I'm coming after the talent is one thing, or I'm coming to take over my spot or get my spot back. But when you're going after, like, there's been no promo time, then you're going after Tony Khan. There is no payoff with Tony Khan. because you're not going to have Britt Baker versus Tony Khan, though I'd pay to see that. But it's not going to happen. You know, Bully Ray, a long time ago, he came up with the whole putting Dixie through a table. Because if you think about it, Dixie at one point turned heel, had the most heat, but where was that payoff? Eventually, we paid it off. It took almost a year, but it was eventually a paid off angle and did ratings, all that stuff. But, you know, that was where and how are you going to do it? Vince McMahon, when he became the bad guy, massive payoff. But Vince then also got in the ring, wrestled, blah, blah, blah. So those are two ways to look at it. If it is, I'm unhappy, well, then either amend it or we'll give you a release or find the talent. That's what you have to do on a company level. If it's an angle, then you just got to be like, okay, well, my angle's working because it's trending.
Yeah.
Bottom line, that's really it.
Yeah, there's a lot here, and there's a lot of layers to this because first and foremost, Tommy, and if we look back, even when AEW was at its hottest, there was always a lot of complaints about that the women weren't getting enough time, the women weren't getting a lot of promo time. Thunder Rosa, who's, you know, our host here on Fridays, Tommy, when she was champion, she never had a live microphone in her hand. Leading up to her match with Britt Baker for the championship, they never gave her a microphone. The only time we really heard her talk, Tommy, was here on Busted Open when she told her story about, you know, her childhood, her life, you know, and she was in tears when she was talking about the first pay-per-view she was on, and she was staying at a hotel room, and like that was the nicest room she's ever been in her life. Like that whole story, Tommy, was just phenomenal. And I was like, wow, if they would have told this story on Dynamite, how much bigger would that championship victory be, knowing her story? Yet they never told it. And then immediately after she wins the championship, we think we're going to get a promo, and then she got attacked from behind, never was able to talk, and really never had any promo time after that. I don't think, even when she had to give up her championship, they didn't even give her a live microphone to talk about it.
Correct.
And then there was the whole stuff about all the women's matches are on at 9:30, and they're not getting a lot of respect. So what she's alluding to by having no mic time, I think alludes to the fact that, you know, maybe in the total scheme of things, the women in general haven't been given a lot of time in the ring, which storylines are on the mic. The other way to look at it, and Tommy, I'll throw myself into this discussion. What was trending number one when it came to this show? Hashtag Busted Open 24/7. Why? Because I went on a tirade on the air about how this show and all of us don't get enough respect. Here I am on the air on SiriusXM on a great platform that I'm so thankful for, talking about the walking, talking zombies on the 37th floor not respecting us or our fan base. That's kind of very similar to what Britt Baker is doing here. It's not much different than that. You have an issue, you know what? You talk about it. You bring it up. Now, mine was a little bit different because I did it on the air and I kind of voiced it so that everybody could take part in the conversation. She's doing it on social media, which could be an issue and a problem, but it's very similar. And then you have the fact that you look at AEW, Tommy, and AEW and Tony Khan made Britt Baker a star. Nobody knew who Britt Baker really was before she got the platform of AEW. And she's given us some great moments. I always say the two biggest matches I think in AEW history was Cody versus Dustin at Double or Nothing, and then Britt versus Thunder Rosa at St. Patrick's Day, at the St. Patrick's Day show, the unsanctioned match. Those are probably the two biggest matches in the history of AEW. And I kind of find it hard to not be able to find a way to put a live microphone in the hand of Dr. Britt Baker for an entire year. I understand she's been out for the last couple of months, but I know she was there all the way up until I think early September. And I find it hard to believe that She never had a live microphone in her hand. And then, obviously, Tommy, as you said, the devil. Could this be that she's the devil? That was our guess. Remember when this was first brought up? This could be that angle, though. If that's the angle, this is a strange way to go about it. But it is pro wrestling, like you always say, and you never really know.
Yep. Like I said, you got to sit down and talk with the talent and deal with the talent that way. If our show wasn't as popular as it was, don't know if you would have been called into the office. So again, it's different when that happens. It's making your company, like, how does that benefit the company? Honestly. So then you got to look at it for, I'm frustrated, I'm upset. I would apologize if this wasn't an angle, or I stand my ground. And then there's two ways to go about it. Well, if you do it again, we have to fine you. Or um, then it's, if you're not happy, then I'll give you a release. And then she goes wherever she wants to go, or she goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she has a successful life outside of wrestling, would crush it, doing appearances, all that stuff. There's, I mean, honestly, that's the only ways you have to handle these situations. And, if talents go awry, you fine them. And if they continue to go awry, then you let them go. Would
Yeah.
not be a good look for AEW to let her go. It would look like another younger talent was going somewhere else, and that doesn't help your company. So again, if the overall is I'm the face of the women's division, doesn't help when that women's division, there's other ways to go about it. But I do know, like, she has had mic time. And then I would look at it from a talent relations point. Well, you did do this promo here. You did do this promo backstage, blah, 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 blah. That's mic time. The other part of it is when you talk about, AEW and their women, who's crushing it right now? Toni Storm. She's on every week in backstage stuff, blah, blah, blah. Last week she was in a back. She's the hotter act right now. And yes, you have a new champion. She was represented yesterday. We went through this about Raw with all those top acts. You have to look at it the same thing as with Dynamite. We're doing this tournament right now for this month, just like they did in All Japan and just like they do in New Japan. We're doing a tournament that has to generate 3 matches a show on this one, and then Collision's getting 3 as well. So where do you people fit in? Oh yeah, then I got to do my Edge stuff, and I got to represent MJF, because those are my other 2 bigger storylines that are intriguing. So where do these people fit in? It's a hard thing to do and they have a gigantic roster. They also have a roster, like, if I'm going by, again, the people who weren't on the show last night weren't represented on Dynamite. Maybe, and some won't be on Collision either. So then it's another week of they're not there. No Don Callis for what, 2 weeks now?
It's been a while since we've seen Don Callis.
Don't even know what happened to his group. There's a lot of injury bug within AEW as well. And, plans have to change. So these are the things that that happen when you're behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. But, if it's this is my angle and my angle is now working because it was trending, cool. I don't know if that it was trending in a positive way.
And it's an interesting conversation to have, because you just threw something out there that I didn't really think of, and that is the fact Toni Storm's featured on TV every week. She took a character, she really just grabbed it, ran with it, and it's become a big hit, and it's got everybody talking. I still look at Britt as kind of like the leader in that women's division in a lot of ways because of what she's done in the history of AEW so far. And she's kind of one of those pillars and the first person signed to AEW. So I think in a lot of ways, she's a bit of a leader. At least I look at her as a leader because of those things. It's an interesting tweet. And even if it's leading to her being the devil, this is going to get people talking, like you said, Tommy, in a negative way. This isn't positive in any stretch of the imagination. And really, in Britt's tweet, she doesn't mention the other women or the women's division. She mentions just herself. So, like, does that take a little bit away from what Toni Storm is doing? Because Toni Storm is getting TV time each and every week. There was a story that Britt was involved in. It was the Outcast story. And I think it's safe to say, Tommy, that angle, that story was a bit of a flop. It didn't really go anywhere. I thought it was going to go a little bit deeper. Thought there could be more elements to it, and it just never really played out, I think, the way that a lot of fans wanted it to. So it's an interesting conversation to have because in a lot of ways, if you look at Dynamite right now and you talk about the biggest stars on Dynamite, one of those biggest stars is Toni Storm. And you look at one of the reasons to watch Dynamite every week, one of those reasons is Toni Storm. So is it fair to say that the women aren't getting enough TV time when at least one of them are? But I still think it's a problem. And two of those examples would be Britt this year and obviously Thunder Rosa. And when are we going to see Thunder Rosa? And what story is Thunder Rosa going to have? When CM Punk got injured, Tommy, what did AEW do? They brought CM Punk back and they called him the real AEW world champion. Why? Because he never lost that championship. Thunder Rosa never lost her championship. So I would have to think, Tommy, that when Thunder Rosa comes back, based on what we saw with the men's division, that Thunder Rosa is going to be involved in a major storyline in AEW based on the fact that her story and her real life scenario copies exactly what happened to CM Punk.
That's what you would think. Yes. I don't know if that's going to happen. The only way that happens if fans remember it and you make it an issue on television. Sometimes, yes, people get hurt and they get taken off the field and they lose their spot, or they come back and they have another successful run career. With specifically just talking the Britt Baker thing, I would look at it and say, you know what, you're right, because you are amazing on the microphone. But here is the circumstances why. Or again, I don't know how, because again, we have this character and we saw this character get involved physically, or one of them last night. But you take this person, if it is, and it's like, these are the reasons why I've turned heel, because trust me, it's easy to hate on Britt Baker. And she's an excellent heel. She's also was a popular babyface because of her mic skills and her wrestling. But her mic skills are really over the top. She's convincing on her promos. But then again, if I'm management, I have to say, well, what about these backstage promos that you had? That is live mic, even though if they're pre-taped or whatever. So it's interesting to see how it plays out. I don't think AEW needs any negative. And as of today, this is deemed a negative up until if this is the reveal. If this is a reveal, then, hey, we all, well, not all of us, we all got. Yeah. But that's what wrestling's supposed to be. We're supposed to get you if this is part of the angle. If it's not, then it needs to be handled. And if it's not handled, it'll be more disruptiveness. And listen, if I'm, again, talking to people or talking to wrestlers, there was people who complained online about stuff in WWE, they were let go. There were, if I would say, hey, you don't understand what this person went through. I did, because I lived it through him, and it was The Miz. The Miz was put through hell. A different locker room. He was ostracized. There was people there. You weren't allowed to speak. It was made horrible for that young man. And I like Miz. Miz is my friend. And from that, Miz has outlasted everybody. Did Miz go on social media and say, I'm dressing in a broom closet? Did Miz go on social media and say, I have to dress in the car because I'm not allowed in the locker room? No. Miz ate it and then continued his hard work, and whatever little stupid spots he was given, he got over. And he's been there forever. And he, everyone's like, oh, Miz isn't a great wrestler, blah, blah, blah. We don't say that anymore. No one said anything negative about me. Literally went from a heel to a babyface working Walter in 3 weeks? And if you put him on Monday Night Raw right after that match and said, go out there and be a heel, he'd be a heel. So I would use Miz as an example of here's someone who then got his own television show, became a multimillionaire, and wasn't supposed to be in this system and has outlasted everybody. And if you talk about time-wise, I don't even know how long if he was injured. But even when he was injured, I remember he came back, has held every title, main evented WrestleMania, did a lot of things that most people would never say that The Miz did. It's a perfect example of fighting through that adversity. If Tony Khan doesn't see it in her anymore, cool. Then if they're going to ride your contract out and they're just going to say, you'll be quietly let go until the talent says, hey, I no longer work in AEW. And I'm sure she would land on her feet anywhere she wanted to go.
Is it disrespectful to send out that kind of tweet during the actual show? Like, is it disrespectful to your top guys in Christian and your world champion MJF to send out that kind of tweet while Dynamite is still on the air?
If you're an upset talent, there's no saying it's right or wrong. The guy who took off his jersey, Antonio Brown, right? Antonio Brown took off his jersey, tweeted during the game, I'm out, I'm done, had a fight on the field, left the game. He's out of football. Talented guy, out of football, because other people like, well, he's a problem, and we don't want to have that problem no matter how talented he is. If you're upset, again, there's no stopping somebody if they're upset. The tweet is not helping the company. So how does that help the situation? So if you put it out at 10:02, does it matter if it happened then or during the show?
Probably not.
So, people want to get really, really into I hope it's an angle. And I look out of this and I say, wow, she wasn't given a live microphone. But then again, from management side, I was like, I know she had backstages because I remember one of her promos and it was off the charts. And it was one of the most convincing promos, like Arn Anderson-esque promo. Don't know where it aired, probably Rampage. But I mean, hey, it's a thing and it's out there. So this is how you have to deal with it.
And Tommy, I think another thing you said that's so true is like right now, unfortunately for AEW, there is a bit of a dark cloud above that company right now. Coming off of everything that happened with Punk and with Cody and seeing Cody and Punk, thrive in WWE, WWE being the very hot company, seeing that attendance is down with AEW. And, I'm sure this is just a cycle that AEW is going to go through and they'll get on the other side of it. But things like this don't help. It almost feels like a pile on. It almost feels like jumping of the ship a little bit when you see something that is heading south. Like, unfortunately, right now, AEW is just at this moment, at this time.
Well, I feel they did have positive momentum after Full Gear. And definitely. I thought that's the beauty of this industry. That's the beauty of sports. Oh, my team sucks. What the hell's happening? They go on a win streak. They had a very, very successful weekend, and Full Gear was off the charts. And then, yes, that next show was really, really good. And you need to continue that momentum. But this is, like you said, then it could become a cycle of negative that you don't want.
Yeah. The last time that we saw Britt Baker in the ring was in September 16th, when she lost to Chris Statlander. That's the last time we've seen Britt Baker. So it's been, obviously, now well over 2 months. So you have to take that into consideration. I don't know why we haven't seen Britt Baker in the last 2 months. There's a lot of speculation about her being with Adam Cole, but we've seen Adam Cole on TV. So don't know exactly why that is. It just feels like once that Outcast story ended, they just didn't have anything to do with Britt Baker at that time. Britt Baker's somebody that you could throw back on TV, and in an instant, she's going to get everything back because, like you said, she could be your biggest babyface. She could be your biggest heel. It's going to be very, very interesting what we're going to see from Britt Baker and this AEW's women's division, Tommy, moving forward.
Britt is a star. And if I honestly, I look at it like, wow, like, how do you not hand this woman a live mic in front of an audience? And forget about just Pittsburgh. That's the easy layup. But if that really is the case, then I did do her a disservice. And then I say, as a owner, as a creative person, I apologize for that. Or I look at it, well, you did have these promos leading up to this. So, but again, how does the tweet help? If it's an angle, yes, it helps. And these are the reasons why I'm beating up your world champion. These are the reasons why, for a lot of different reasons. Like, I'm going to tear the whole place down.
Yeah, we're going to see.
Not an angle, it's not good.
Yeah, I agree. And right now, it's the number one trend in sports. At least it was when I woke up this morning.
Listen, man, we got Ross and we got Dub, two unbelievable super fans with a really, really successful podcast. What number are y'all up to now? I know I saw y'all went over 100,000 subscribers.
On the main page or YouTube, we just reached 870,000 subscribers.
Big. I love the success. My son Jacob follows you guys, and he's the one that turned me on to it and had me follow, and I watch, and I said, one of these days, these guys are really going to blow.
Right.
And I think today is that day. You're on with the Hall of Fame and Pain, Bully Ray, and the world's strongest. Yes, sir. So y'all recognize game.
For sure, man. Honored to be here.
Y'all gave one of the most exciting fan reactions that I've seen since, oh my gosh, I don't know. I think John Cena coming back at the Garden at Royal Rumble was pretty damn crazy.
Yeah.
And there was a fan that passed out.
Oh wow!
Draped over. I'm in the ring. I'm the last one getting eliminated, and I see the guy drop over the barricade. The security comes.
Wow.
John is throwing my ass out, and I'm looking at the paramedics pick a dude up.
That's wild.
Like, I mean, so like when y'all did this, did y'all think that it was that it was going to get noticed by the WWE like that?
I mean, we could only hope. I mean, and I love me and Ross's dynamic because I'm more the like I got in shock. And you know, people are always sending stuff to WWE and stuff like that. And but once I seen Ross's reaction, I said he called me right after live and said, "Hey man, you gotta post this clip because this is gonna go viral." And he was just like, you know what? All right. So after the stream, he stayed up, cut the video up. And of course, our video got a part of another compilation, a few of them actually.
Mm-hmm.
And but once I seen his reaction and then I like got stuck, I was like, yeah, this gonna go viral. And
I got to see him with my own eyes. That's what kept getting me. Bully, you see, I sent it to Bully Ray, and I said, you got Dub, who's the calm one. He's
Yeah,
under control. Hey,
Mhm.
very analytical. And
Yeah.
then you got Ross. Oh! Ah!
So,
Well,
guys, I think
animated.
it would be fair to say that
Uh-huh.
both of you are massive CM Punk fans.
Well, for me personally, I'm definitely a massive CM Punk fan.
Yeah, Ross the master.
For me, I've told this story a few times on YouTube for when people ask me how did I get into wrestling or whatnot. I grew up watching wrestling, Attitude Era, all that. So I've been a part of that. That's been a big part of my my life growing up. But I had fell out of wrestling. I mean, once I got to college, I wasn't really watching it much. It wasn't until I just happened to be on YouTube and I saw something was trending. And I checked it out. It was the CM Punk pipe bomb. That once I saw that video, just that section they had on YouTube, I started checking out Raw because I was like, yo, what's going on here? And from there, it kind of brought me back into wrestling. Before we even started doing YouTube, I was just checking it out just on my own. And it kind of snowballed. And then once me and Dub started doing YouTube, he had, he grew up in the Attitude Era, so he hadn't been watching it for a while. But I told him, I was like, hey, man, we definitely should check out some wrestling stuff because that's something we grew up on, and I was able to kind of get him back into watching it as well. So it kind of snowballed. But for me personally, definitely CM Punk is I'm definitely a big fan of. So
As successful as that video, that pipe bomb clip you saw,
mm-hmm.
the pay-per-view did that clip of him returning that you saw and lost it
Mm-hmm.
did 71 million
That's
views.
Whew.
Wrap your brain around that.
That's wild.
71 million. Have you ever even heard a number remotely like that? And I'm texting with CM Punk,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying, hey, man, 71 million views? And he texts me back, bro, what the absolute
Nah,
I
for
like how
sure.
Mark Henry just kind of name drops Punk and how he was just
Yeah,
texting
it was just like a slight
and he
flick.
texted right back.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just talk to Santa over here for a minute. Santa, can you believe this bullshit?
He dropped a slight flick, so
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I was texting with CM
Yeah,
Punk.
he was
What the hell?
it was just a casual conversation. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
You know why Mark Henry can do that? Because
Mhm.
he's different.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
no,
we go.
for
There we
sure.
go.
For sure. But piggybacking on what Ross was saying, I mean, like him getting me back into wrestling, because it was gonna take a while to get me back into wrestling because I got so busy with work and life and stuff like that. So sometimes you just kind of lose the same urge you used to have as a kid. But I mean, Ross's energy is just I haven't seen nobody match his energy when it comes to, and it's like he radiates that energy to you, and it's like you have no choice but to kind of like go along and just you feel it as
You
well.
kept him in check though.
Yeah.
He was like, whoa, wait a minute. I not till I see him with my own eyes.
Yeah, that was my only thing because I heard the music and I'm like, nah, because like we were saying, we were watching the we never really watch a press conference after the stream because sometimes the streams are so long. We're like, all right, guys, we'll get off our live, but we actually watched the press conference and just hearing about how they kind of teased it where nobody else really knew that he was going to be there. So they normally do the ending screen like they normally do, like it's finna go off. And then when the music came on, I was like, wow. I'm looking at it from a director's point of view, like, oh, that was smart. Like I said, they took us all by storm. And I was like, yeah, you were going to get the greatest reaction just by kind of psyching us like that. And that's what I miss.
Now, guys, are you fans of all the companies? Are you WWE fans? Like, give us a little bit of history on, the both of you.
Okay. For me personally, I started primarily it was just WWE, at the time. And then once AEW started up, I actually started checking them out and started getting more into their wrestling and what they had to offer as well. I never really got too much into the old TNA at the time. Because once again, I was in and out of wrestling and it was primarily WWE. If
Yeah.
anything, I would probably check out old matches that, some of the subscribers were like, hey, check this classic match out, check this out. But for the most part, it just been WWE, AEW. I kind of go back and forth. I'm one of those individuals. I'm not big into you can only like one and not the other. I was like, nah, if you enjoy wrestling, it works for everybody. There's gonna be some different takes for everybody. Some people are gonna like WWE more and vice versa. I'm just here to just be entertained and see what stories guys can tell in the ring. So for me, it's kind of both ends, AEW, WWE. That's kind of, been the route I've been, just checking out for the past couple of years.
What about you, Dub?
Yeah, same here. I mean, growing up, my uncle was big into wrestling, and I think that got me into wrestling real heavy because I seen my older uncle acting out like wrestling moves, and so he would fight with me and stuff like that, and my dad, and I'm like, man, this is live, like this is lit. And so got into wrestling as a kid, and just same with Ross, I'm more of like a storyline person. So if it's a good story, and I like to see a good fight, so I don't really care what network is on. If it's a good fight, if they flying off the top of the ring, if it looks like it hurt, I love it. Like
you like the death-defying feats.
Yeah. Because I got to give credit to you guys and everything. Like you guys put your bodies and everything through a lot of work, and trauma and stuff for our entertainment. So that's why I don't like to.
So guys, in all honesty, and this will be a very direct question.
Yeah, for sure.
Growing up as fans of the Attitude Era, what is it like for you at this very moment to be in the midst of two Hall of Famers, the world's strongest man, and one half of the greatest tag team that has ever existed on God's green earth?
For sure.
Go ahead, start blowing smoke.
Okay, cool. We here for it, man. Before we got on here, you know what I'm saying? Before we got on here, when Mark Henry, after he called us, and we was like, bro, I don't think it started hitting us like, yo, these are people we grew up watching.
Yeah.
I remember Devon in the euphoric state as he would put people through the table. I remember that and just thought that was the craziest shit I'd ever seen in my life. Like, I remember Mark Henry selling that promo like he's about to retire only to attack John Cena in that nice ass suit he had. Like, I remember these moments, and it's like, for us, it's surreal because, bro, we grew up watching y'all. Like, my mom knows. When I told my mom about it, oh, Mark Henry, she started going crazy. Like, yo, Mark Henry, you gonna be on a show with Mark Henry? I was like, yeah.
I do that to moms.
That's exactly why I tell my mom.
Ross, by the way, just, I don't mean to correct you on live radio, but it was Bubba who put everybody through tables and had the euphoric chance. Not Devon.
Yeah, man.
It's
cool.
Look, if you only knew how many times I got called Devon.
I'm sorry.
What they say, Devon.
This is what happens. People approach me, they go, yo, Devon, what's up? And I'll say to them, wait, what did you call me?
Tell me.
Call me. And then they go, oh shit, you're the other one.
Nah,
I've been relegated to the other one. Whoa. Wait, guys. Do you see what's on Mark Henry's shoulder right now?
Oh my!
Busting out the salmon jacket again.
He's flexing
to the Busted Open Nation who's listening right now, Mark Henry is holding. He must really like you guys because he doesn't break that salmon jacket out for just anybody.
Yo!
Yeah, this is a serious. I'm telling you, like before we got on here, like even when Ross, we talked about it. He was like, we got to calm down. You know what I'm saying? We got to act like we supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because this is a freak out moment. Going back to your question. I mean, you guys didn't show mercy on nobody.
No.
And I mean, anybody was going through a table. I felt scared for my own mom, going through a table. And Mark kind of gave you fear a little bit, like as a kid, because I'm like, man, he too strong. I'm like, all right, we get strong. I'm like, man, Mark seemed a little bit too strong. What was that when he was trying to break open the gate with the lock?
Oh yeah.
And I think that was a different kind of fear at that point. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just watch wrestling.
One, let me hit this real quick. Bully and Devon, they get confused. People confuse their names all the time. Really? I've seen it at least 50, 100 times in my life. And they'll see Bully and they'll go, Devon, hey, you remember that time? And he'll go, whoa, bro. I'm Bully. I know we look alike, but and I just it's like one of the coolest things. I always love that. But like that story with the lock.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a guy that used to work for us named Ellis, and Ellis was the magic man. And I told Ellis, I said, hey, I need you to take a hacksaw, and I need you to go around that lock. So it's, I can break it still, but like help me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Ellis got busy and he forgot. So that was a master lock that really got broken.
Yeah.
So anybody that ever says they seen some crazy shit in their life, go back and look at that. My hands hurt for weeks.
Damn.
That's wild.
Like I couldn't unbutton the button.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I couldn't wear everything was a pullover because my hands hurt so bad. So that just an insight into our world a little bit.
Yeah, see, and look at that. It just added more to the fear a little bit.
Guys, we got a couple minutes left. I want to ask you about last night. So, Ross, we'll go with you first. What did you think about Punk's promo? And be honest.
I know initially I was thinking maybe it was going to be a little more pipe bomb-esque, but I personally enjoyed what he said because he didn't have to do too much. I think the general consensus I had seen online was a lot of people feel like, he could have said more or whatnot, or, they had some type of high expectation. Me personally, I enjoyed it because at the end of the day, this is a slow build. He doesn't have to say everything and go 1,000 miles an hour. He's back, letting people know that he's back, sending subliminal shots, to future potential feuds, not really doing too much, but basically getting the point back that he's home and, he's not here to make friends. He's here to make money. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what type of stories they're going to tell. So me personally, I enjoyed it for what it was, and I think it was a solid promo.
Dub, talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much from a fan standpoint, I wanted more a direct, attack or an answer on who he's going to see or something like that. But from a writer standpoint, I get you do have to slow cook it. You have to kind of let things settle in. You still want to make sure the feud makes sense, and you want to make sure that what you have going on makes sense for the future. So, I enjoyed his last comment, to be honest with you. I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. To me, that was kind of like the mic drop moment. So yeah, it has me interested to see what's going to happen. So
Ross, you're the mega fan, you're the CM Punk mega fan. Did you believe CM Punk last night?
Did I believe what he was saying? Part of me,
your silence is giving you away.
Yeah, no, not the
silence is deafening.
He hit the
Damn, I can't hear myself think.
I want to. It's like 80% believes, 20% is like, because some of the stuff that he said, we've heard him say in AEW. You know what I'm saying? Not verbatim, but we've heard him say some of those same things. So him, saying you guys kept chanting my name even when I wasn't here. That was something he said when he originally came back, and that was still very true. That's not. I'm not going to take away the truthness of it, but at the same time, it was just one of those things where it's like, we kind of heard this. If you watched AEW, you've heard this before. You've heard this song and dance just in a different company and how he delivered it. If you didn't watch AEW, you've never seen what he was doing over there, then for you, as you like, oh man, this is crazy. I haven't seen CM Punk in this long. Like, this is wild. This is new to me. So for me, it was like an 80-20. Like I believe what you're saying, but it kind of came off as, for me, I've already kind of heard some of the similar stuff. So how true is it,